Hello, and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm Drew Brewer, and I'm here with Coach Glenn White from the bowling team, as well as bowler Stephanie Vasquez. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing good. So currently, you guys are now in the off season. So what from the regular season can you take from the past season to help you move into this off season?
You want to go first?
Sure. From this past regular season, I think what we can take from this is that our hard work that we put in, we know is going to pay off. So no matter what happens during the regular season, we know that we're always going to give our best and give 100%, and that's not going to change. We would have loved to have a different outcome this past season, but we are going to make sure it's going to happen this coming season.
And kind of going along with the same thing as Steph said, considering who we have returning, we have some young people on the team now, and we'll have a really young team next year. So the experience from this year is going to really pay off for next year. They had a chance to not only see what collegiate bowling was like with the two freshmen that we had this year, but also experience the championship mindset and what it takes to win the championship. We know it's not easy. We work hard every year trying to get there. So this year, I think it's going to really be helpful that they had a chance to experience the season the way it went. Our season, as we see it, was still a successful season, and we did win the regular season championship. So, I think it'll be good that we go into next year with the experience that we take in from this year.
All right, and you talk about coming in with new experience. You just signed two new recruits, and Jada Gordon and as well as Miranda Fuentes. So how do you feel their contribution to the team will help excel?
Well, actually, I see them contributing right away. Both of them come in with really good credentials. And, of course, there'll be an adjustment period, as always, coming into to bowl at this level. But knowing those two individuals and knowing their skill set and their mindset and what I've seen of them, I think they'll be able to contribute right away. So we're really expecting some big things from them.
All right. So another question I have for you, Coach, was about oil patterns, something that is going on in bowling. So how do you feel about the oil patterns in bowling?
Oil patterns are really what collegiate bowling is all about. Actually, it's what our sport is about that a lot of people don't understand, but it's actually what we compete on and what we compete against. Yeah, we have an opponent on the other side of the lane, but in our sport, our competition and what's competitive to us is adjusting to the oil on the lanes and being able to read the lanes and see what the ball is doing, to see what the oil on the lane is doing, how it's moving, how it's changing, how it's drying up. And as we compete throughout the day, we have to continue to transition with the oil. So the oil patterns are priority one for us as far as preparing for the type of pattern that we're going to bowl on and making sure that we have the proper equipment and bowling in the right part of the lane.
All right. So for you as a player, hearing Coach saying about the oil patterns, how do you feel going into knowing that it's going to be one of the main contributors in coming into the game?
Like you said, equipment is number one. So knowing your equipment and getting familiar with what you have really helps you when attacking an oil pattern. Usually we get to know the information about the oil pattern before we go to the event. So we're able to practice and to really familiarize ourselves with what this pattern will do. And that's honestly the big key, I believe, is to understand what you're dealing with so you know how to attack it.
All right. So unfortunately in the SWAC tournament, you guys had unfortunately lost, and that's okay. You guys are still 4-time regular season champions, 5-time conference champions. So how do you see you improving for the next SWAC tournament, or what are the things that you can take from this particular SWAC tournament to help you improve for the next one?
I really think experience and just being able to have the freshmen that we have right now to experience the competitiveness of SWAC is really going to help for next season, as we are, going to have 2 new freshmen. They as well are going to experience the top level competition that we will have throughout the whole season, and to have experience and to have like your team together is really going to be key going into next season.
All right. So, Coach, she talks about experience. You talk about experience. So, bringing in these new freshmen, how would you say to get a freshman accumulated to the life of college, the life of collegiate bowling, and to stay focused and to have that championship mindset? Like we said, 4-time, 5-time championships. You're bringing in players that is still at a dynasty that you want to continue to go. So, how do you get them to accumulate ready for this?
Well, a lot has to do with what I'm looking for when I recruit, as to the makeup of the players coming in. What I feel like, not only their skill set, but mentally and their personalities and everything that makes me feel comfortable that they can gel with the team, because it's all about team for us to be successful. Our schedule, as we go through the season, is huge in preparing us for the conference championship. We compete all year prior to getting to that conference championship. We compete on a national level. So we have a lot of top teams that we bowl against throughout the season. And as we go through the year, our mindset is to continue to work hard and get better. And as we move through the season, we want to be at a point when we get to the conference championship that we're peaking. And so that's the plan. And I think as we go through the season next year, that's what we're looking forward to, is just making sure that as we go through the year, everybody is constantly improving. It's all about working and getting better all year long. And I think by the time we get to that time and that point next year for the conference championship, we'll be ready.
All right. So I kind of have like a question. It's kind of for the both of you. I'm going to start with you first. So as a player, how has Coach White helped improve you as a bowler off and on the lanes, I guess you would say?
Yeah, so during practice, we do a lot of drills, and Coach also does a lot of one-on-one as well during practice, and I believe during that time, he really, he helps me with my physical game and, so, and my mental as well. But it's nice to have that other set of eyes while you're practicing, so you can understand really, what you're doing wrong, and that's what Coach does. And off the lanes, Coach, he makes sure that we are good academically. That's probably like the biggest thing, is that we're maintaining our grades and making sure that, we're representing PV, well on campus and even off campus.
And Coach, 5-time conference championship, 4-time regular, being named Coach of the Year. How does that make you feel, being one of the top dominant coaches in your conference for bowling? And just, you said you've had teams that, come up against that's kind of difficult, but at the end of the day, they're coming up against one of the best coaches in bowling right now. So how does that make you feel, being named all of those and having all these accolades?
Well, I'm blessed to have had an opportunity, first of all, to be here at Prairie View, and have a chance to actually compete at this level and to be able to coach these young ladies. So we've been successful, and that is always the goal. Again, I feel blessed to be able to have this opportunity. I'm humbled by the fact that we've been able to win championships. And, that's kind of our goal every year, and when you come to this program, that's kind of what you're coming to. We have established a culture here of winning championships. And when you come in, that's kind of what's expected. We know it's going to be tough every year. We kind of go into the season every year knowing in our conference for sure that we have the bullseye on our back. Even when we don't win the championship, we'll always have that bullseye on our back. So we try to really work hard to be mentally prepared for the challenge. Again, I'm blessed to be able to have been successful, and hopefully that success will continue.
Right. Well, hopefully it does, and we can hope that it continues on more and more and more as the seasons go on. When we come back, we'll discuss more about the bowling team with Coach White and Ms. Vasquez. Stay tuned for Coach's Corner.
STEM is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
What do an aerospace engineer, cancer immunologist, and bat scientist all have in common? We all have cool jobs in STEM fields. Whether it's building robots or learning to code, girls everywhere are finding their passion for science, technology, engineering, and math through positive role models and mentors. So dare to dive in, get connected, and explore. You never know what your future may hold. Learn more about these and even more cool jobs at SheCanSTEM.com.
Hello, and welcome back to Coach's Corner. Coach, we discussed you having the accolades and just being named Coach of the Year for the bowling. So how have you seen your team improve from the years when you first started here at PV to now?
Oh, well, excuse me, it has been an evolution, I guess you could say, from where we started to where we are now. It's like the difference between day and night. When I first started 18 years ago, we didn't have nearly as much as we have now when it comes to equipment and even just having the lanes on campus right now is a huge improvement and a huge advantage for us to be able to practice on campus. You know, early on we were driving 30 miles one way to go to practice every day and practicing in the evenings. And, you know, during those times it was difficult, but those teams, as I tell them now, those are the teams that kind of paved the way for them because they endured, you know, some really tough times. And even during those times, we won our first championship when we didn't practice on campus. So, but seeing where we are now and having the talent that we have on the team from year to year, you know, it's a huge improvement. And you know, it's always been a plan to try to build a program that competes at a high level. And you know, hopefully we've done that, and we'll continue to try to even go higher.
All right. So, Ms. Vasquez, coming into the bowling team, you know, they've already been winning championships, and like he said, when he's going into his recruiting, he's looking for that mindset. So what really drew you to come to PV and continue that championship mindset?
Not only is the campus very beautiful, I was able to get a tour of it, but also like the many accomplishments that the team has made, and I saw how much potential the team had. You know, I was just very excited to even be on a team, and you know, just having a team with me and to have that, you know, the campus is very nice. And also, like, what really got it for me is that there's bowling lanes here on campus. I don't have to travel very far to practice, and I think that was like a really big bonus.
All right. So being a student athlete, especially with bowling, how is a bowling schedule for you in school?
It's a little crazy. You definitely have to, you know, organize and plan out really how you're going to go about going to class and then as well as practice. It's very tiring, but at the same time, if you can get down a schedule, you can have everything, you know, everything set out, and you'll be fine. It's been tough, especially freshman year, but you know, as the years went on, I eventually developed my own schedule, and it's fairly easy for me.
So for you, Coach, talking about the schedules and stuff, how do you help your players? You know, there might be a player who might be struggling in school at some times or even just struggling on the lane. So how would you step in to help them continue to have that student-athlete academic success on and off the lanes?
Well, whenever I'm recruiting, I always stress academics is priority one. And so anytime any of the players, have any problems or struggles when it comes to academics, and I'm going to be there to pay attention and watch, and we'll find out what the problem is, and try to get whatever help it is that they need to get help with. Of course, as Steph mentioned, so much of it is about time management. And so, they know that I'm available if they need to talk to me, if they're struggling. We keep a track on them as far as their academics go. And if I see something kind of falling down, then we'll have a conversation. And as I mentioned, if they need help, if they need some type of tutoring, we'll make sure that they get the help they need. If they are needing some time off in practice, then I don't have a problem with that. It's not something that's routine. But my mindset has always been to make sure that they are functioning and taking care of business in class. So we make sure that they have enough time to study. We don't practice probably as much as a lot of bowling teams that I know, because again, what's important to me is to make sure that they're taking care of business in class.
All right. So on campus, championship team, bowling team is starting to get that relevancy on campus to be known as that one sport that can really come in and bring championships. So how do you feel as bowling as a whole, as the sport? It's not looked at as much as a major sport, or people don't really see it as much. But you guys, even though they might not see it as much, you guys still coming in, bringing in championships, still bringing glory to PV. So how does that make you feel to still be a team that actually give PV relevance in the championship league?
It feels good, What we, as a sport, we just want to be respected, and that's probably like the biggest thing for us. But we love to represent PV and to bring in the championships, and yeah, it's a really cool experience to do that for the school.
All right. Coach, you have anything to say with that?
Yeah, it is. It can be a little bit challenging, but when we go into our season and when we do what we do, our focus is just winning championships, trying to win the championships, and trying to be the best that we can be. Also, as again Stephanie mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that we represent Prairie View A&M in the best way possible. I think for this sport of bowling, a lot of people not knowing much about it, they may sometimes take us for granted. They may sometimes take us for granted, and just feel like it's going to be automatic that we're going to win a championship. But it's really not as easy as it may seem. Again, every year, it's a challenge for us, because other teams, not only in the country, but all other teams in the conference, are coming at us with their A game every time we compete, and we have to match that energy and that effort all the time as we compete. So it's not as easy as it may seem, and sometimes I think we may be taken for granted. Well, the bowling team, they win every year. They'll probably win again. Not so easy as it showed up this year. But we're going to always, give 100% and do our best. And again, the main thing is to make sure that we really show Prairie View A&M in the highest light. We travel probably most than any other teams on campus as far as traveling around the country. And, it means a lot to me when we're around the country and we're at different airports and different cities, and we have PV alumni coming up and saying, "I'm just so glad to see our colors here." So our main thing is that we want to represent Prairie View A&M in the best way possible, and winning championships and making sure that they take care of business in class, and those kind of things is what's important to us, and we'll try to continue to do that.
All right. So with the SWAC, there was the two new additions of FAMU and Bethune-Cookman. I don't know if you guys was able to go against them, but if you have, how does that added level of competition affect the SWAC for bowling?
It was definitely more competition. We were able to go against FAMU in this year's SWAC tournament, and they brought a lot of competition, just like any other team in the conference. It's always exciting to have new teams because that means the sport is growing and growing. So it was very cool to see them there and to see the level of competition that they had.
Coach, you have anything to say?
Yeah, it was good to see. FAMU Bethune-Cookman didn't come in with their bowling team this year. Hopefully they'll have one coming up this coming season. Excuse me, but FAMU, we've seen FAMU before in some other national tournaments. We haven't bowled against them as often, but I already knew that they had a competitive program. So it just added more competition to the conference, and it's good to see that. The more the merrier. It's a bigger challenge for us, but really glad to see FAMU and Bethune-Cookman come in.
That's good. HBCUs in general have been becoming more prevalent and more relevant in the world now that more people have been signing to come to HBCUs over PWIs. So how do you feel the new look of HBCUs can help bowling, whether in the SWAC, MEAC, just help out in general to give more prevalence to the sport?
Well, in our sport, what's unique about our sport? Of course, yes, it's great to see the HBCUs get the attention that they're getting now, and hopefully that will continue, even at a higher level. It's been a struggle in our sports, I would say, for HBCUs, but at the same time, with our sport being, again, a little bit unique in the way that we are able to compete at a higher level throughout the season. So we compete against the top teams in the country already. We might, in any given tournament, we might bowl against the number 1, 2, or 3 team in the country at any given time. We've had success at that level in bowling against some of the top teams in the country. Being able to defeat them on a regular basis is our goal, but it's been beneficial to us because of the way our sport is set up, that we've been able to compete at a higher level. And but it's really good to see that the HBCUs are starting to get a little bit more attention, and hopefully we can take advantage of that in a lot of other different ways.
So I have one last question for you guys. Is there anyone on the team now that you could see really take that leadership role to help really improve, really take charge, almost be like another coach, like a player coach, to help get the team where they get back to the championship in the tournaments?
Well, there are several, I would say, hopefully that will take that reign. We'll be losing 2 of our leaders actually this season. We have 2 seniors that'll be leaving. And so I'm hopeful that there are several that will step up and take that reign, and that includes the incoming freshmen. Because it's going to be really important to see those type of leaders on the team. One of the things that makes us win is being a team and having leaders to guide that process outside of just the coach is really important to that success. So I'll be looking forward to being able to identify who's going to step up and take those leadership roles. And it's not always where you are titled as a leader, but you can be a leader. 1 through 7 or 1 through 8 can be leaders in a lot of different ways. So yeah, I think we'll have some who step up this year and guide the team, so we can just continue to get better and grow through the season.
Ms. Vasquez?
Yeah, I believe like anybody on the team can do that position. Everybody has the potential to, and so that's what's going to make it interesting. Is that everybody has that motivation to have the team do better.
Well, thank you, Coach White, and thank you, Ms. Vasquez, for coming in today and sitting down with me to talk on Coach's Corner and talk about. It's great to be here from the champions. as always, and we always love to have you come to the studio and come just sit down, talk about what's going on.
Well, we appreciate you having us.
Yes,
Right.
thank you.
Make sure you tune in to Coach's Corner every day from 3 p.m. I'm Drew Brewer, and we're signing out.